this is Grandma Lori. Today's story is the Hamster Rescue Squad, The Sound. Squeak, Whiskers, and Fluffy were sitting down to a nice cup of tea at the end of a rescue. Relaxed, they talked about how the rescue went and what they could do better. It just feels so good to wrap up another case, said the leader, Squeak. Agreed, Whiskers said. I wish all our cases were like that. What did you think, Fluffy? Fluffy was picking a piece of fuzz off his suit, not paying attention to what they were talking about. Huh? Fluffy said, looking up. Sorry, I was trying to get this piece of... Chirp, chirp, chirp. What the heck was that? Fluffy said, looking startled. Whiskers listened. What are you talking about? It's very quiet. Did you hear something? There was a sound, Fluffy said. I didn't hear anything, said Squeak. I think the case rattled your brains, Fluffy. Chirp, chirp, chirp. There it is again, Fluffy said. See, I told you. Squeak and Whiskers had heard the sound, but thought it was one of the chairs squeaking. It's okay, Fluffy, said Whiskers. It's just one of the... Chirp, chirp, chirp. Fluffy jumped up. There it is again. Squeak and Whiskers also stood up. Okay, boys. You know what this means. Gear up. We've got another case. But I was just getting to the good part of this cookie, said Whiskers. Can't it wait till I finish my snack? Chirp, chirp, chirp. No, Squeak said, heading to the locker room. We need to go now. Whiskers reluctantly put down his tea and cookie and followed Squeak and Fluffy to get into his rescue gear. Chirp, chirp, chirp. The chirping was getting more insistent. It was as if whatever was making the sound was getting more upset. Squeak said, Okay, let's go about this logically. Fluffy, where do you think the sound is coming from? It sounds like it's coming from deeper in the tunnel to the second basement, said Fluffy. But it's dark down there. What if it's a monster? Squeak said logically, not in a silly way. You know there's no such thing as monsters, Whiskers said. He was the smart one. Grab your cameras, boys. We may need to take some photos if it's something we've never seen before, Squeak said, heading toward the tunnel. As they made their way down the tunnel, they turned on their flashlights so they could see better. The further down the tunnel they went, the louder the sound was. Chirp, chirp, chirp. They were getting closer. Fluffy got behind Squeak in case it really was a monster. We're almost there, Whiskers said. Squeak called out, Hello? Hello? Are you in trouble? We're here to help. Chirp, chirp, chirp. The crew rounded the last corner and found a cricket. Ah! Cried Fluffy, grabbing Squeak's arm tightly. See, I told you it was a monster. Squeak tried to pry Fluffy's hand off his arm. Will you calm down? It's just a cricket. Chirp, chirp, chirp. My name is Chris, said the cricket. I fell down a hole and ended up in this tunnel, but I can't get out. Whiskers went over to Chris and said, It's okay, Chris. I'm Whiskers. This is Squeak, and that scaredy cat is Fluffy. We're the Hamster Rescue Squad. We can help you get out. Just give us a sec. The squad huddled up. Whiskers says, I know the perfect way of getting Chris out of the tunnel. A few minutes later, the Hamster Rescue Squad was in the backyard above the tunnel, pulling Chris out of the hole in the ground. It wasn't the same one he fell into, it was bigger, so Chris didn't have to squish himself to get through. Phew, thanks guys, I really appreciate it, said Chris. Chirp, chirp, chirp. What is that sound? Fluffy asked. Oh, it's nothing. It's the sound my back legs make when I rub them together. I don't even realize I'm doing it, Chris explained. Soon the boys were back in their headquarters, with a fresh pot of tea, some fruit, and lovely cookies. Another Hamster Rescue Squad case solved. This has been Grandma Lori. Thank you so much for joining me.